So the 2019 season was a little hard on this trailer. Honestly, with the amount that I was traveling, I smashed my fenders off stuff. I was not overly pleased about that, but it happened. I have some rust coming through here. This light no longer works. Probably just the electrical to it. The winch, I'll get to the winch later. The brakes are not sounding very well. Actually, they're sounding better than they were. And I did put the new deck onto it, but the main reason why I got this in here, I can't even close this door because of how big the trailer tongue is. I guess I could unbolt the tongue, but then I couldn't walk around. Do you guys see this? I'm not liking that. Definitely not liking that. So I'm going to put a plate on here. I'm going to heat it up, pound it in. This here, I might even do that a little bit better, cut this back or something. Out here is a little rusty. I'm just going to take a wire wheel to it again, paint it up again. This light no longer works. This light is missing. I don't think that the electric brakes worked all 4 tires. I think that one's not good. That's the one. I think I only have electric brakes to 2 tires. And yeah, so we're going to have to do a bit of work to this. So, the last thing I wanted to show you guys is the winch. My God, this thing here, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a winch this beat up before. I keep it covered while it's outside, so then that way it keeps the weather off of it. But to make this thing work, you have to jam this into there, and that one into there, and then that's a starter wire off a Toyota Camry. It's just been beat up pretty bad, and it sounds horrible. So I'm not sure if I'm going to redo the winch and switch it out with a completely different one, because I actually did buy one 2 years ago on sale at Canadian Tire. That's it right there. Yep, that's it over there. And I might just put that one on. I took the spare tire off. Everything on that side looks good. It's just this side that has rust, which is kind of weird. You think over there everything would be caught up underneath that tire and not melt. I do want to lubricate all this up again. I'd like to try to put a handle onto that. I know that sounds like a meaningless thing, but I do want a handle on it. I probably have to put a new battery in here because that battery's probably dead. My toolbox has seen better days, but it still works. Just maybe lube it up a bit. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So we're going to probably be doing a lot of stuff on this with lights. I even want to do the pivot on this. I want to check out the hydraulic cylinder underneath there because it's been getting a lot of play. I think it might need to be replaced. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing now. To get this thing in here was a nightmare. I pushed it in here with my little Suzuki. I have about 1.5 inches of clearance on both sides of my hoist. And the Suzuki does not have a trailer hitch. So it was a little bit difficult, but I sufficed. It got up here. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a wire wheel and we're going to start wire wheeling the edge of this, and then we're going to maybe look at a plate, take all this down to bare metal and put some rust paint on it. I do have some trim clad over there is probably what we'll put on it. And pretty much just go from there. Start with the big things, which is obviously that hole in the frame, and then we'll work our way to the actual brakes on it. So I guess let's start wire wheeling. We got this cleaned up, but it's pretty dusty, rusty, you know. Took off all the rust down to the bare metal. We did the exact same for the inside. Now, why I think this is rusting out on the inside is because it's got these little spaces here that are filled with like silicone and stuff. So I imagine that there's ways for water to get in there and not get out. So, and this is kind of a spot where I imagine these C channels have been heated up quite heavily and be able to be bent to be able to do this. Like there's no water in there now, but it's kind of sharp. Don't want to cut my fingers. There's not even that much rust in there. Once I have all this plate on it, I might just drill a hole and put a grease nipple in it and just put a whole bunch of grease into it. Stuff doesn't rot when you have grease in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tack weld one side of this and then put a whole bunch of Bessie clamps on it and then just start heating the piece up, and hopefully it will just kind of conform to it and get a nice weld here. I'm going to start about an inch back, end about an inch away, and get a nice weld, and it'll be about an inch down and about a quarter inch up from the bottom. So it should be pretty nice. This is the piece we're going to use, and just got to do a little bit of different head swapping on the torches because that one sucks. And then get some Bessie clamps ready, and maybe we can start welding this on. So we got the paint on there, and she looks beauty. Plate looks good.
Now even the trailer's cheated.
Yeah. Now we can go on to the other stuff, like the winch, the lights, the brakes, the brake wiring, all that fun stuff. So plenty more stuff to come on this trailer. It'll be ready for the 2019 season and 2020
season.
2020 season in no time.